Hello everyone. So during the daytime, we completed the groups A and B for the Koppen's climate classification. Now let us start with the group C. So the group C designates the warm, temperate, rainy or humid mesothermal climate. So to understand which temperature range is for the group C, we have to understand this that the average temperature of the coldest month is between 18 degrees Celsius and minus 3 degrees Celsius. So basically now we are going towards the temperate latitudes, the higher latitudes, and this is the warm temperate latitudes, the temperate latitudes which are warmer and have substantial amount of rainfall. So this as I had previously discussed, the group C, it has the second alphabet is of three types, W. So W stands for dry winter. Then S, CS, it is dry summer. And CF is all seasons wet. So remember that in the tropical humid climates, we had F, W, and S. So the F was for rainforest, W was for dry winter, and S was for dry summer. Similarly, here, if F is attached as a suffix to any group, it becomes wet seasons. All seasons wet, there is no dry season. So CW is dry winter, and precipitation in the driest summer month is less than 40 millimeter. This value you should remember. Now, the third alphabet, which gives the level of heat for group C, is A, B, and C, where A stands for hot summer, B stands for warm summer, and C stands for cold summer. So if we have CWA, it means that the winters are dry and they have a humid subtropical type of climate influenced by monsoon, having classic dry winter, wet summer pattern. So here the winters are dry, summers are wet, and warmest month is over 22 degrees Celsius, which means it is the hot summer. CWB, it is dry winter subtropical highland climate. Now, where you climb up some highland, mainly found in the tropical highlands of Central America, South America, Africa, and Asia, or in subtropics. Winters are noticeable and dry, and summers can be very rainy, but no month is over 22 degrees. So, the warmest month has a temperature of 22 or less than 22 here. That is CWB or warm summer. And CWC, so winters are dry, but here the summers are cooler, cold. So they have subpolar oceanic climate and almost up to 1 to 3 months have a temperature of more than 10 degrees Celsius. Otherwise, normally in CWC type of climate, the temperature remains below 10 degrees Celsius. The next is CS, where the summers are dry. So it is a Mediterranean type of climate. So if in the examination it is asked which of the following Köppen's classification scheme groups designates the Mediterranean type of climate, it will be CS. Okay. So C stands for warm, temperate, rainy, and S stands for the dry summers. Here the precipitation in the driest summer month is less than 30 millimeter. So CSA, it is again hot summers. Now, interestingly, the CSA occurs on the western side of continents between latitudes of 30 degree to 45 degree, and it has moderate temperature and changeable rainy season. Warmest month is normally over 22 degrees Celsius. So you should remember that whenever we are talking about the warm temperate climate and we are attaching the third alphabet as A, the temperature of warmest month will be over 22 degrees Celsius. CSB, that Mediterranean warm cool summer climates, and no month is over 22 degrees Celsius, while CSC is Mediterranean cool summer climates 1 to 3 months above 10 degrees Celsius, while CF is all wet seasons, means very high rainfall. So if CFA, humid subtropical climate, warmest month over 22 degrees Celsius, and at least 4 months over 10 degree Celsius. They usually occur on the eastern coast and eastern side of the continents in 20 to 30 degree latitude. So you can see over here that now the CSA occurs between 30 to 45, while CFA occurs between 20 to 30. So it means that we are going so if it is a CFA climate, it is at a lower latitude. CSA climate, it is at a higher latitude. CFB is oceanic type of climate, maritime type of climate, marine west coast climate. So higher middle latitudes on the western side of continents between latitudes of 40 to 60 degrees. So on the western side of the continents between the latitudes of 40 to 60 degrees. They are typically situated immediately poleward of Mediterranean climate. So if it is B, it means the summers are relatively cooler than A, warm summers. While CFC, subpolar oceanic climate, occurs in both hemispheres. Latitudes are 70 north and south to 70 north and south. So if it is 60 degree to 70 degree north and south latitudes, it will be CFC climate. So let us see the CWA and CFA. So if you see over here, as it was previously mentioned that CWA, it is a dry winter, humid subtropical climate, and CFA is humid subtropical climate, warmest month over 22 degrees Celsius. So the dark green and the light green patterns. So the and of course the CFA occurs on the eastern coast and eastern side of continents. So if you see over here, this is the eastern side of the continent. All these are the eastern side of continents. This is eastern side, this is eastern side, this is eastern side, this is the eastern side, this is the eastern side. Now, let me tell you all an interesting fact over here. If you see my video on the ocean currents, you will find that all these eastern side of the continents, they are basically the western side of the oceans. So let me draw the equator over here, then you will understand why it occurs specifically on the eastern side of the continent. So if this is the equatorial latitude, this is the Brazil current. Brazil current. Here, this is the Gulf Stream. This is the Madagascar current. Here, this is the East Australian current. Here, this is the Kuroshio current. So if you see here carefully, you will find out that, and of course, this region is the Agulhas current. So all the warm currents, they run through the areas where the CFA type of climates are found. So these warm currents, they assist in the wet type of climate and they give substantial amount of heat to keep the temperatures above the 22 degrees Celsius. While the SA, so you can see these highland areas, the plateau regions, they are all having this CSA type of climate. In India, the common examples for CWA will be Delhi, Lucknow, Guwahati, while interestingly, Srinagar over here gives us a CFA type of climate. Next is CWB. So if you remember, the CWB type of climate was the warm temperate rainy season with dry winters and warm summers. So CWB. So if you see over here, as we had discussed, CWB, it is subtropical highland climate and winters are noticeable and dry and summers can be very rainy. So if you see over here, you can see through these patches in India, we have common examples as uh, Gangtok, Ooty, and Cherrapunji. So this entire belt all along these northeast region and Ooty, they exhibit CWB type of climate. While the in this figure, you can also see the CW CFB and CFC, though they are almost stretched in the same fashion along the globe. The temperate dry summer CS, the dry summers type of climate, they are extending on the eastern side of the eastern side of the oceans or the western side of the continent. So it is CS, CS western side of the continents. So just pay attention to this diagram. Here we saw the warm currents on the eastern side of the continents, while here we see the cold currents. So this current over here, it is the Peru current or Humboldt current. This current over here, this is the California current. Then we have this current over here. This is the Canary current. Then we have this current over here. This is the West Australian current. So all these currents, they are the cold currents. They are the eastern boundary current. They are cold currents, and this cold current, it does not allow immense amount of heat over there, and therefore the moisture availability is lesser, and this becomes temperate dry summers CS. And so we have CS ABC in India. Probably in the very higher Himalayas or the Leh Ladakh region, we may get the temperate dry summer or CS type of climate. The group D consists of humid microthermal cold snow forest climate. So it means that it is at a further higher latitude than group C. Here, the average temperature of coldest month is -3 degrees Celsius or less, while warmest month is less than 10 degrees Celsius. The It usually occurs in the interior of continents and on their upper east coast, normally north of 40° north. In the southern hemisphere, it's a very important point. In the southern hemisphere, group D climates are extremely rare due to the smaller land masses. So look at this diagram again, this map again. You see that in the southern hemisphere, the amount of land mass is very less. The area of land mass is very less. Therefore, the uh, group D climates, they are extremely rare in the southern hemisphere. So again, DFA, DWA, and DSA. So DFA, DWA, and DSA, they stand respectively for the humid microthermal cold snow forest climate. Having F stands for rainfall. So here the precipitation is normally high. S stands for the dry summers, and W stands for dry winters. So here in the high 30s and 40s low latitudes, average temperature in the warmest month greater than 22 degrees Celsius, because here we have A. So A is, for this case, stands for hot summer, B stands for warm summer, and C stands for cold summer. While in case of group D, another third, in place of the third alphabet, another alphabet is added, that is D, which is very cold winters. So DFA, it has warmest month greater than 22 degrees Celsius. DSA exists as higher elevations adjacent to areas with hot summer Mediterranean type of climate. So DSA is uh, adjacent to CSA, but it has a higher altitude. So these climates exist only in the northern hemisphere, because southern hemisphere has no locations that get the combination of hot summer and snowy winters, because of the same thing, that large land masses are uh, not there. Always remember that the oceans and the land masses, they differ in their specific heat capacity, which plays a very important role in the modulation of climate. DWA, in the Eastern Asian region, DWA climates extend further south due to the influence of Siberian high pressure system, which also causes winters to be dry and summers can be very wet because of monsoon circulation. We all understand this, that Siberia, which is a part of Russia, it is the coldest place on the earth, and we have these locations which have very high pressure systems. So the coolness over there, the low temperatures, they cause the winters to be extremely dry, but because of the high pressure anticyclonic circulation patterns over there, we can have the monsoon circulation during the summer. So summers can be very wet as well. Next is DFB, DWB, and DSB. So it is DF and B. B stands for the warm summers. So these are normally continental type of climates which have warm summers. DFC, DWC, and DSC. So it is subarctic or boreal climates. Means we are now close to the North Pole. The, and these climates they occur poleward of other group D climates or at higher latitudes, generally between 55 to 65 north latitudes. So DFD, DWD, and DSD, these are subarctic or boreal climates with extremely severe winters, and they have temperatures which are much less than minus 38 degrees Celsius. These climates occur only in the Eastern Siberia. So remember, if DFD, DWD, and DSD are asked, they exist only in the Eastern Siberian region. So this is the map for the uh, group D climates, and we can make out that all of these are north of the uh, subtropical latitudes and at very substantial heights. So we understand this fact that the cold temperate type of climate are available at the very high latitudes or at the elevations which cause the occurrence of such type of cold climates. So if we see here carefully, we get DSA, DW, and DFA. So the pink color over here, it is DSA, DWA is the purple color, and blue color is the DFA. So they exist in the subtropical latitudes as we go toward the temperate zones. While DSB, DWB, and DFB, they all are now at certain higher latitudes than the previous case. So see this, they are this DSA, DWA, and DFA are at relatively lower latitudes than DSB, DWB, and DFB. Always remember, when A is there, it means warm, hot summers. So when hot summers, definitely it is a common sense that when the summers have to be hot, they have to be at relatively lower latitudes. While B is warm summers where the temperature is slightly lower, then it has to be at a slightly higher latitude. And see this DSC, DWC, DFC, and DSD, DWD, and DFD. So here all these are extremely cold type of climates, and they have to be at the subpolar latitudes. And if you see over here, the DFD type of climate, it is restricted to the Siberian region. Okay. Siberian region in the Eastern Asia. So you can see here how these group of climates is shown. The last one is the polar climates. So group E, it has the average temperature of warmest month less than 10 degrees Celsius. It has two types of subdivisions. The second alphabet in this group stands for T as tundra climate and F as the frost ice cap or permanent snowfield type of climate. So remember, don't get confused that the EF type of climate will be available only where there is permanent ice sheet like Antarctica and the places like Greenland or some Canadian highlands where the Laurentide ice sheet was there. So the otherwise ET, that is the tundra type of climate, you can see the Himalayan region over here and the Arctic region. While EF, it is in the Greenland and Antarctic region. So these type of climates, they have uh, almost no vegetation over there. Lichens and mosses are the common type of vegetation found in these zones. Okay. In India, we find these 7 types of climates, which include monsoon type with short dry season, that is AM. Then monsoon type with a dry season in summers. So it is a dry summer AS, And then tropical savanna type AW means it was dry winters. And then we have the semi-arid steppe climate, that is BSH. So we had the drier climate, then uh, there was steppe type, and then hot temperatures. BWH hot desert type, so completely arid, then desert, and then hot temperatures or hot heat, higher heat levels, and then monsoon type with dry winters. So it is CW, and then cold humid winter type with short summers, that is DFC. Also in the high Himalayan regions in Kashmir, we may get E, but here this E will be ET, the tundra type of uh, climatic patterns in India it is found. So we have these seven types of patterns, or eight types of patterns which exist in India. And so you can see over here that the tropical type with the dry winters, it is mostly the central India, while the northern Indian pattern of climate, it is CW, and then the highlands, the higher mountainous terrains, they have DFC or E. Here we have the western coast, it gives us the monsoon type of climate, which is AM. So we can understand now, based on the locations of various places in India, how the climatic distribution will be there. So I hope you all can easily remember this. So you have to keep in mind the world map, the latitude, and you have to have a slight knowledge about the solar insolation distribution, the heat distribution, and you can never confuse with the Köppen's climate classification scheme. I hope this video helped you all. Thank you.